Hey, what's up guys? Justin Seeley here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be jumping into Adobe Photoshop and I'm going to be showing you how to create this effect. You've probably seen it 100 times on billboards and advertisements, especially if you've seen any advertising from Spotify in recent months. I see this effect all the time, especially on billboards here in Nashville for album releases and stuff like that. It is a really popular technique and it is super simple to create. Also, in this video, I'm going to show you how to automate this process so that you can instantly apply this effect using actions in Photoshop. And I'm also including a download link in the description for a free Photoshop action that I made for you so that you can just do this without even having to learn it if you want to. It is a super simple technique and I'm really excited to show it to you. Let's jump in and take a look. All right, so here again is the final example of what we're going to create. It is a really simple technique. You can see there's not a whole lot going on in the layers panel besides one single layer. And the basic idea here is that you're introducing color into the basic parts of the image. You're introducing one color into the shadows, one color into the highlight, and you're doing that using a gradient map adjustment layer. So all you have to know how to do is work one adjustment layer and then get a little creative with the color choices that you make. So let me go ahead and remove this layer here and we'll start over. By the way, you do not have to start with a black and white photo. It just so happens that the photo I'm using is black and white. You can use whatever photo you want and I'll show you an example of this once we get to the very end. So what I'm going to do is go down to the adjustment layer icon and choose gradient map. Once I choose gradient map, by default, it is going to give me black and white. And you'll notice with the black and white gradient map adjustment layer, this in and of itself is a pretty interesting effect. If you're shooting black and white photography, this gives it just a little bit more punch and contrast. So if you ever wanted to add a little bit of extra something to your black and white photos, that might be an option. But in this case, we want to edit this gradient. And so I'm going to, in the properties panel, click on the gradient itself. That's going to open up the gradient editor. And in the gradient editor, we're going to choose our colors from these two stops. And so basically we have the shadow stop on the left and we have the highlight stop on the right. So first off, let's grab the highlight stop. I'll just click that and then we'll go into the colors here. And let's just choose that red color that we had before and hit OK. And then for the shadow color, we'll choose that stop and we'll introduce that dark blue, almost purple like effect there. And so once we do that, we'll hit OK. And there we go. Now you can get creative with this. You can kind of maneuver the midpoint around to make adjustments on this to kind of increase or decrease the contrast on this. It is totally up to you how you implement this. Dragging this a little bit further to the right, I think, creates a really cool little effect. And then once you're finished editing, you just hit OK, and there you go. You can turn this on and off anytime you want, and you can get as creative as you want with the different colors. Now, speaking of color variations, I mentioned in the intro video I was going to show you how to automate this, and I created an action that you can download. The link is in the description for this video, and in order to automate this process and give you some good jumping off points, I've created an action that pretty much takes care of everything that you need here. So let me jump over to this other image here, and this is another way for you to see that it does work on both color and black and white images. I'll just go up to my actions panel here, grab my Spotify gradient action that I've created, and you can see here it is loaded with stuff. And once I do that, I'll hit play, and it's going to automatically create all of the different layers that I need. And so there's orange and purple, blue on blue, green on yellow, red and orange, which is one of my favorites, green and blue, pink and yellow, and then of course the blue and red. And you can go in and you can modify any one of those gradients you want. So for instance, let's say I wanted to get into the red and orange here and make a change. I can open up the gradient editor here, and remember earlier we kind of made an adjustment with that. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's adjust this a little bit to get more of a warm kind of effect there. You could also drag that over to create a more orangey effect. Either way, both work. But you can see this works equally well on both colored images and black and white images. And with all of these different color combinations that I've given you here, it should make it a little bit easier for you to get a jump start the next time you want to run this effect. So go ahead and download that action. It is completely free to download. If you need help installing it, just go ahead and drop me a comment and I'll be more than happy to walk you through that. I'll also link in the description to the Adobe help file where you can find out how to install Actions as well. All right, so that about wraps it up for this tutorial. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something along the way. If you did like it, go ahead and hit that like button, and while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And if you have any questions, comments, or you have a request for what you'd like to see here on my channel, go ahead and drop me a comment and I'll be more than happy to help you out if I can. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Justin Seeley, Instagram at TheJustinSeeley, and Facebook.com/RealJustinSeeley. All right, so that about does it for me. Until next time, see you later.